Everybody's attention. Listen, Tito, you know this is not my thing. Oh, y'all got quiet real quick. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. It's an honor to be here. There's so many people to thank for being here, but I'm just going to get through this, and y'all know I'm not good at this at all, and I'm very passionate about this project, so just bear with me. This journey began over 2 years ago when we as an organization set our sights on new horizons for Wichita Falls. Early in the fall of 2023, we began deliberate research with Encore, City Utilities, Atmos, and many other partners to verify that Wichita Falls provided the ideal environment for a data center campus, a strategic move to secure a great path forward for our community. Fast forward to February of 2024. We met Haynes and his team, and we quickly learned that our vision and drive aligned on multiple levels, and not long after, we secured a signed contract and began planning what has become the biggest industry announcement Wichita Falls has ever seen. After 2 years of diligent and methodical planning, I'm pleased to officially announce and welcome Skybox Data Centers to Wichita Falls. With that, I'd like to introduce you to Haynes Strader, Chief Development Officer of Skybox Data Centers. Haynes, thank you for your investment in Wichita Falls. And more than anything, thank you for your trust in our community.
Well, hard to beat that. Okay. Thank you. Thanks to the city, all the staff, Mariah, Mayor Short, Chairman Lane, members of City Council, the EDC, and everybody that has helped make today possible. It's an absolute honor to be here. I've been working in this, and here we go, let me see. I'm just gonna do this. It's an absolute honor to be here. I've been working in this industry for 12 years and have had the unique opportunity to be the Chief Development Officer at Skybox Data Centers for the last 5 years. And we have worked on some really large projects. We did one of the largest projects in the state in Austin and another one in South Dallas. This will be our third project of that scale, which we call Power Campus. When Skybox looks for a new home, we don't just look at a map. We look for a collaborative ecosystem. Wichita Falls has built exactly that. The connectivity and power opportunities here are truly world-class, and the infrastructure is a primary reason that we're standing here today. We are committed to developing this project in a way that is responsible, carefully planned, and aligned with the community's long-term vision. But infrastructure is only half the story. The other half is the workforce and the people who call this place home. We've seen the transformative power of local talent in our partnerships in Pflugerville and Hutto and in Lancaster. And we are incredibly excited to tap into the exact same drive and skill here in Wichita Falls. This project is a catalyst for historic fiscal transformation for the city and the county. With the potential to nearly triple the local tax base, it is designed as a permanent generational investment in Wichita Falls that will provide resources needed to support a variety of things, including the Wichita Falls Independent School District, public safety, and city infrastructure. Whether that's supporting our first responders, investing in roads and utilities and services that benefit every resident, or funding partnerships with students and teachers to ensure that we have access to a high-tech talent pipeline in the future, all of those things are of critical importance to our team. Our goal is to be a great neighbor and a cornerstone partner, not just a project on the edge of town. That means showing up consistently, listening to the local priorities, and supporting the institutions and organizations that already play a central role in the community here. We want to meet with you. We want to hear from you. If you have questions or want to talk about what this means for the city, please reach out to our team. It's real simple. It's Wichita Falls at skyboxdatacenters.com, and that goes directly to one of my team members who will very eagerly respond to you. He's here today. Jack O'Neill, maybe just wave a hand. Jack is on my development team, has done a phenomenal job of creating a lot of local partnerships, and will very excitedly talk to you about ways that we can work together. We'll also be hosting a community event with our pre-con partners here in a couple of weeks. So if you run a business, work with a business that is interested in working with us, we'd love to know about it. And that ranges, we've had conversations with folks in concrete, fiberglass, all the way to catering. We'll have a lot of mouths to feed. There's a lot of different ways to work with us. And if you own a local business, whether it's a jewelry store or restaurant, I think you can anticipate a lot of foot traffic coming here over the next couple of years. We're ready to get to work, and we look forward to being part of Wichita Falls for decades to come. I'm personally very proud of this project. Building these things, I often say, it's like building a submarine above ground. It requires a ton of planning, an intense amount of capital, and a lot of it we can't share publicly, but we are committed to being as transparent with you as we can be, and bringing home a product that ultimately in a campus that you guys are really proud of, that your kids are proud of, and hopefully that employs a bunch of people that you know in one way or another, or at least helps your businesses. So thanks to everyone for getting us this far. We still have a long way to go, and we look forward to being here in Wichita Falls.
Good afternoon, Wichita Falls. Can I hear you? Yeah, exciting day. Well, I'm Jeff Jenkins. I'm the city manager, and I'm truly excited and happy to be here with our partner, Skybox. This is a wonderful day. Great day in Wichita Falls history, and it's a historic moment, and one I couldn't be prouder to be a part of. First, I want to send out a big thank you to our city staff, Forward Wichita Falls, our 4A board members, and mayor and city council members that are here. Raise your hand. Let's give you all a big applause. Yeah, all right. Thank you all for your hard work over the last 2.5 years to ensure we conducted thorough due diligence on this project. And I especially want to recognize a couple other individuals that were highly involved. Paul Menzies, our assistant city manager. Of course, Mariah Williams, the Forward Wichita Falls CEO. Almost did some dance moves. That wasn't good. Leo Lane, 4A board president. And of course, Mayor Short for his effort, hard work, and dedication to making this special moment happen. So from a city management level, I'm confident Skybox will be a great addition to our community, providing jobs, opportunities, and being an involved corporate citizens. Thank you, Skybox, and to your partners for investing and being part of Wichita Falls. I am also proud to share that collaboration between the city and Skybox has been smooth and highly productive. As this project progresses, our staff across the board, multiple departments, consistently ask, what and how can we help you? This will continue as we move forward, as it's a collaborative effort to make things happen. The spirit of partnership speaks volumes about who we are as a community of Wichita Falls and how are we moving forward. You always got to have a quote in a moment like this. So famous educator, management consultant, and founder in management leadership, Peter Drucker said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. The future is not a passive occurrence that just happens, but a reality molded by our current actions, strategic decisions, and innovative thinking. Our actions today by investing in our digital infrastructure is actively shaping the city's economic future, not waiting for it to happen. So in closing, today is a great day for Wichita Falls, and this new data center is going to have a meaningful and lasting difference in our city and throughout the region. So one last thing to say to Skybox, welcome to Wichita Falls.
I'd like to take a moment to note everything we've put into this project since it first began. We visited active data center sites still under construction. We met with the city leadership of Abilene. We've had lengthy discussions with a number of consultants who specifically site data centers all over the world who are itching to site our community for projects of their own. We've tapped into every subject matter expert we could find to get to this point, and we feel as though we hit the jackpot in the partnership we built with Skybox, an impact that will span far beyond this single project, but into our community, our schools, and our future. We also would not be where we are today, to compliment Jeff, if it weren't for the ones who came before us that so thoughtfully invested in this land and strategically placed infrastructure throughout our industrial park. This investment tops the charts at more than $14 billion total capital investment so far in the Wichita Falls Business Park, and we couldn't be more proud of that and all the high-value jobs that have been created in return. Does anybody have any questions for Haynes while he's still here? Because he is more than happy to answer them.
What's going to be the total permanent employment when it's constructed?
That's a great question. So historically, you would estimate between 30 to 50 jobs per building. William, how many buildings are we at? 7? 10. 10 buildings. So in that scenario, it'd be 500 people on the upper end. We're seeing the more consolidation with technology, you're actually seeing job numbers going up dramatically. And I say dramatically, it might go probably 20 to 40% increase over that. So my guess is by the end of the day, this is about 1,000 people a day that'll work on that campus. About a quarter of that will be security related, and the other 3/4 of that will be highly technical technicians, software and hardware technicians, as well as mechanical and electrical engineers.
Okay, do you have a timeline for when it'll be up in operation?
Another good question. Yes, so our current schedule would have the first building coming online in late 2028, and then subsequently every 6 months delivering a new building, something along those lines. So this will be a long-term project. It could easily, it take 5 or 6 years to get to that phase. We are actively looking at ways to also expand the initial plan. There's a lot of additional land around us, and we're working with some of the landowners in the area to think about doubling or tripling the size of the campus over time, but that's all premature today.
Do you have a contract with one of the big five in mind for occupying it?
I always have somebody in mind. We don't have anything signed, and we normally don't do that until we're a little further along. I do anticipate, though, that we'll have a partner decided this year.
Can you give me an idea of what the salary range is going to be for the people who will work there?
Yes, it's usually like 1.5 to 1.75% or 150 to 175% of whatever the median average salary would be here for that role. My guess is because there's going to need to be some import of labor for some of these roles, that those salaries would actually be higher. But the typical job salary is somewhere between $65,000 to $75,000 for security guards, and then the technical roles are anywhere from $95,000 to $260,000 per job.
Do you have any idea what this is going to be with the property tax?
So I don't have an exact estimate for you, but what I can tell you is in similar cities, the amount of tax will often double the tax basis. We think the size of this project will likely triple the tax basis here in Wichita Falls.
Anybody else?
I have a question. How will y'all guys address environmental concerns like sound pollution and the water concerns that many residents have made known?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, because I think it's good to address that up front. So from a water perspective, this is the lowest impact use for most commercial uses, other than vacant land, that you could come up with. So our typical building, so each building will use somewhere between 4, in the worst case scenario, 15 homes per day worth of water. So you're talking, if you did in the most conservative scenario there, 10 buildings, 150 homes worth of water on more than 350 acres. So you could build thousands of homes in that same amount of real estate. But it's, per building, that's, call it somewhere between 400,000 and 1 million gallons per year per building. And again, 400,000, our average use is 4 homes per building, per 150,000 square foot building. But there are different technologies and different ways to do it. So it's somewhere in that range on water use. So again, that may sound like a big number, but the average household consumes 1,200 gallons per month. So that's kind of a good metric of how to weight that. On the element of sound.
I know a lot of people have concerned that
Well, so we're an industrial park, but yes, so a single data center on its own is not very loud. Even when all the equipment's running, it's going to run at or below whatever the noise ordinance is in the city. Certainly our facilities do that. I think it's important to differentiate what we're building as truly an enterprise cloud AI capable data center. It's not crypto mining, and crypto mining often gets thrown in the same bucket, but those facilities are typically open air exposed. You have servers actually exposed to the outside ambient air. That's not true here. All of our servers are going to be highly insulated, 6 layers into a building. You won't be able to hear anything happening inside the building. The only equipment you would be able to hear would be generators and cooling systems, so the air chillers, air conditioning units. And when they're all on and all running, you can definitely hear them, but it will be less than noise ordinance or any kind of code. We'd never violate code, even when everything's on. And when you compare it to the area that we're in, where we've got a lot of truck traffic, it'll be dramatically less than the ambient noise that you hear right now. So we're not adding a whole new layer of noise to the area, but yes, that's part of the reason we targeted the industrial park was we thought it was frankly a lower impact use to the overall environmental area of the region than if we'd put it somewhere else.
Gotcha. And what percentage of hiring do you anticipate to be local citizens and residents?
Our goal would be to hire as many local folks as we possibly can. So that's certainly our first priority, and we're going to spend as much time on that as we can. These are not all, they're technical jobs, but they're jobs. It's electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, software engineers, and hardware engineers. We've been able to find a lot of those jobs locally, and I'm hopeful we'll have the same opportunities here. We're certainly going to engage very strongly here to do that. That hiring process doesn't really roll out till about a year before the building comes online. So think about kind of a year and a half from today before we would really start posturing the jobs. But we'll certainly do a lot of preparation with the local, with both local colleges and trade schools here to make sure that we've got lots of communication there to make sure that happens.
How many facilities do you have up and running? The Skybox says up and running. Where are they located and who are they leased to?
Can't answer the last question. We're not allowed to disclose most of our tenants. It's all under NDA. But what I can tell you is they're leased to the top 7 technology companies in the world for the most part. We have built some facilities in Houston that are mostly energy and gas companies. We have one building in Katy that has 3 energy-related businesses in there that you would all be household names, 2 of which are Fortune 200 companies. We've built 3 facilities in Dallas that we no longer own. 2 facilities in Dallas that we no longer own and 1 that we still own. Both of the ones that we've exited were in Plano. One of those was sold to a data center operator that then subsequently leased to a bunch of different tenants. The other one was sold to a high-tech company. And then we have a large campus in South Dallas that's fully leased. We've got 6 buildings underway in Austin. The first one is operational right now. The second 2 both turn on, 2 and 3 turn online this year. 4 and 5 turn online in 27. And the last one turns online in 28. And then we've built 1 facility in West Texas that we also sold back in 2019. But we've been in and around Texas for a very long time. Campuses of this scale did not exist. There wasn't demand for this until 4 or 5 years ago. And so that things of this size have really advanced quite a bit as technology's changed.
So you deal with companies other than just data centers on your properties, is that true?
Our tenants are the technology companies that use the data centers. That's true, yes, sir. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, you talked about some gas properties.
Oh, yeah, no, this is not. So our Houston facility primarily serves 2 energy companies and then a cloud technology service provider that does geoseismic processing for oil and gas companies. This facility is not targeting that, but ultimately if you've got great credit and you're a good caliber user, we're open for business. So we're certainly, we wouldn't lease something like this to companies that don't have the financial capability to perform.
have y'all guys considered any renewable energy sources for this data center?
Yeah, one of the great benefits of being in Texas and in ERCOT is that you have full access to renewables to the extent the product exists on the market. And so I think most of our customers have carbon neutral footprint goals. And so often what they'll do is they'll sign a lease. You're taking capacity from the grid, but then they will go offset that capacity by building new renewable energy generation across the state. So we're super open to working with renewable partners at this site, but it's most likely being sold directly into the grid and then from the grid to the building. So you're still getting a fuel mix. It's not all 100% one type of fuel or another.
And is there an abatement involved in this project?
Nothing local. So this campus would qualify currently for the state tax incentive. We don't usually pursue that until we have a tenant. The tenant is really important to meeting the qualifications of that incentive. So it could qualify for the state tax incentive, but no local incentives.
And I guess my last thing.
Sorry?
When do you anticipate breaking ground?
Q3 or Q4 of 28. I'm sorry. No, that's not right. Q3 or Q4 of this year to deliver Q3 or Q4 of 28. And we've already ordered all of the biggest pole in the tent, the longest pole in the tent is long lead equipment related to the substation and interconnection facilities. All of that's already been ordered. So the dollars at this point are very real. It's just a matter of we're not going to build a building that sits there vacant for a year while we wait for power, if that makes sense.
This question may be better addressed to the mayor or somebody else, but with all these people coming in to build this facility, where are you going to put them?
It's a great question. So I think we will likely have some temporary housing that gets constructed in conjunction with the project. We'll certainly be using all of the local hotels that we can get contracts with and work through. One of the key factors in selecting Wichita Falls is that it is within a commutable distance from both Oklahoma City and the DFW Metroplex. And I think we'll be able to pull quite a bit of construction labor from there. But what I would say is, again, our priority is going to be local business that can contribute to that. So folks that already live here, to the extent they have the skill sets and to the extent there are companies that offer those services, we're going to focus on that first. Did you have one more?
I was just going to ask why y'all chose Wichita Falls, and I think you answered that a little bit.
Yeah, labor was really important, and being able to get the volume of construction labor that's going to be required for a project of this size from the DFW and Oklahoma City areas was important. But really there were three in addition to that, there were three primary drivers. So one was where this sits relative to the overall electrical transmission network in the state is strategic. There is an excess of available capacity currently that is available, and by actually creating load here that's using the electrons on the high voltage transmission, it allows for a higher percentage of throughput on those transmission lines to the city of Dallas. So it ultimately creates a higher efficiency and resiliency for the entire grid in this region. And so that was one of the reasons we picked being here. The second, which was just as important, was Mariah and her team spent a lot of time thinking about the partner that they wanted to have here and building support within the city before coming to us. And it was clear that we came and met with folks at Midwestern State, we met with the city, we met with local officials and leaders, and it was clear that there was a lot of support for a project like this here. We want to be wanted, and we really want to be a good neighbor, and that is a lot easier if the folks running the neighborhood are calling and saying, hey, we'd like you here. And so that was extremely important to us, and I think continues to be. And then the last is more broad, but Texas is the best place in the Western world to grow this kind of technology. We have the ability to generate an inordinate amount of power here. We have more wind power, more solar power than anywhere else in the continental United States here in Texas. We've got a friendly regulatory environment as it relates to both natural gas and nuclear power. There's an amazing opportunity here to grow generation in the state, and we feel like it's really important that AI technology and a lot of these newer technologies that have all kinds of different concerns, and many of which I think are very valid, that gets regulated in the Western world, in the United States, and frankly in Texas. And I feel more confident in our ability to be a good partner, to deliver something that when my kids look back on this, 15 years from now, they're not angry that we built a bunch of data centers, and that it's really become an asset for our overall civilization here in the United States.
Thank you. Before I hand it over to Tim to close it out for us, Haynes and his team will be around for the next little while here, so if you have questions for them, they'd be more than happy to take questions, one-on-one, things like that. With that, I'm going to have Tim close it out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mariah, Haynes. Thank you all for being here. You know, Lynn, I think your question was a good one, and you know, I think it's the hotels, the Airbnbs, and if I were a builder or a developer, I would get to developing. You know, there's a little lag time, and it's going to be a good problem to have, you know, to catch up. So, good afternoon, everybody. I love this city. Today is one of those days that just remind us why we do this work. Thank you for believing in Wichita Falls as much as we believe in Wichita Falls, Haynes. Thank you for seeing not just where we are, but where we're going. When a company makes a decision to invest in a community at this level, it's more than a business transaction, it's just a statement of confidence. And we don't take that lightly. Over these years, meeting with Haynes in the chamber offices, at dinner, he was here one time to look at some potential locations. I remember giving him my card, and I wrote my cell phone number on it. And he was like, "Who does that?" Yeah, well, we've met a few times since then, and here we are, because people like us do things like that. And Wichita Falls is ready. To our economic development partners, the chamber, our county leadership, and our city team, thank you for the countless meetings, for the late nights, and for the persistence. To our citizens, this is your win, because strong communities attract strong investments. To Skybox, welcome to Wichita Falls. We look forward to building something great together. It's not just about a data center, it's about momentum, and it's about our future. It's about a city that continues to say yes to growth, yes to innovation, and yes to the opportunities. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's get to work.